This is Susan Wilbanks with blendedinsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic. Hello, bright soul. Thank you so much for joining me on another podcast. Can you believe we're in August? Where has the summer gone? This has absolutely flown. I'm actually in shock. But I had to share with you, I did go back to the Russian spa. For those of you who have been following my podcast for a while, I shared in February, around that time frame, I went to the Russian spa. And here, the Russian spa option is to do the banya, which is a tradition. And in the banya, they brush you, and I'm air quoting if you could see me, they brush you with oak leaves. But I got beat with oak leaves. And it was the second time I had did the Russian banya. So this time, I wanted to go just for the massage. I wanted a 90-minute massage. I wasn't going to do the banya this time. Because although it's supposed to be very cleansing, and I'm sure it's great, you know, they do the aromatherapy on the coals in the sauna, and then they come in and beat you with these leaves, and then they pour honey over you, and then they pour cold water on you. It's very intense. And so this time I thought, I'm just going to do the massage. Friends, they don't massage the way traditional masseuses in the United States massage. It's different. And I don't even know why I keep doing it. I do know. It's actually a wonderful massage. And I feel really good after, but it's just so intense. It's not a traditional spa environment where the music is very relaxing. It's more up-tempo. There was kind of a mix of house music and techno music. And my masseuse this time was intense. He was putting all of his pressure, body weight on my back, on these muscles in my back. And I was like, am I going to collapse? Is the massage table going to collapse? I was feeling like I was getting the wind knocked out of me. And he massaged my stomach. And when he was massaging my stomach, he was lifting me off of the table. I'm not exaggerating here, friends. I'm not exaggerating. He was lifting me off of the table, going underneath my back. And for me, I'm in my head like, is this a joke? I mean, is this for real? I don't even know. But I will tell you, I left feeling amazing. My body felt amazing. So that's why I keep going back. Even though during each experience that I've had, I'm thinking, wow, I mean, this is kind of weird. Is this how it's supposed to be? Is this a joke? But so I was able to do that. I had to share that with you because we had so many laughs over the Russian spa. You should try it sometime. It's actually really amazing. I love experiencing different traditions and different ways of doing things. So anyway, I just thought I would share a little humor before we get started. Let me go right into the topic for today. And that is spirituality versus religion. And is it really a versus? Not really. Not really. They can be one and the same. But the reason I want to talk about this is because I'm starting to get a lot of comments and questions regarding my work, particularly from religious people who are unsure if my work conflicts with their particular religion. And this has come up over the years, and I get it. So that's why I wanted to make this podcast to talk about. This is Susan's experiences and Susan's views with the difference between spirituality and religion, because there was a time in my life where I considered myself to be religious and I considered myself to be a Christian. And I moved past that, but there's no judgment for anyone that is still following religion because I love all faiths. I took a world religion course where we found the common links. And essentially, the root and the core of all religions are founded on the same thing. Their beliefs, the core beliefs are the same amongst all religions. And a religion is for your relationship, to help you. And spirituality is the same, but there are some differences, and I wanted to talk about that today. So spirituality is your conscious self recognizing that you're more than a body. Spirituality is more of a private or personal practice, whereas religion is a group belief. It is a group, I don't want to say it's a group think, but it is a organized set of rules and behaviors and beliefs that a group of people choose to follow. There's nothing wrong with that. all roads are leading to the same thing, in my opinion, if they're founded in love and unity and the golden rule of do unto others. And honestly, after studying world religions, they are the core qualities and the meat of it, the root of it. It's the same. And so when I say I'm spiritual and not religious, I mean, there's parts of it that I am religious about. What is a religious practice? It is a set of behaviors and rules that you adhere to. I'm very religious about going to the gym. I take care of my body. It's a religious practice. I'm religious about being kind and treating people the way I want to be treated. I'm religious about connecting to my spiritual self, my higher self, through meditation, being generous, trying to leave the world better than the way I found it, trying to be a beneficial presence on the planet. I'm very religious about that because it is something that I intentionally do on a daily basis. And I do have sets of things that I do. There's a certain meditation that I do before I take clients. And, it's an organized behavior and it's an organized set of things that I do. Religion sometimes separates, whereas spirituality often unites. And I don't mean that as to say religion is bad, because I don't believe that. I believe that these things are in place and it's what we're drawn to at any given time to keep us aligned with our higher self and God. And I know in religions, when I say higher self, they're like, oh no, that's you worshiping yourself. It isn't that, guys. We're all a drop in the ocean. We all came from a creator. There's a creator that put us all here in these bodies. And when we leave the body, we're going to go back to that creator. And whatever you choose to define, the indefinable or undefinable, is indefinable a word? Undefinable. You get what I mean. I'm a flawed human. I'm just doing the best I can. Okay, so oftentimes people will say, well, religion is based in fear and spirituality is based in love. I don't believe that. Because I considered myself to be a very devout Christian for a long time. I mean, I was attending a church very devoutly for 3 years. I went 3 times a week. They were long services. I was absolutely immersed in it. And sometimes things would come forward that hit me wrong deep in my gut. My intuition would say, I don't think that's right. And guess what? There are 20,000 different denominations of Christianity. So I attended another church that had a completely different view. And they're all using the same book, but it's based on interpretation. And so I had made the decision that I got to go within and figure this out, because God is not confined to a church. It's bigger than that, right? So I can actually align with the creator that created all of these ascended masters who are Buddhism, Jesus, Hinduism, all of this. I could actually connect to the source that created all of those things and have an expansive experience. But that's me. I don't have any issue with anyone that claims to be a religion. If you're doing the core commonalities and the core principles of treating people well and being generous and helping to pull light on the planet, I love it. If you like it, I love it. I'm all about it. But the reason why people get caught up and say it divides is because there are a set of rules that separate you. Even in the Christian tradition, when I was a part of it, it was like, oh, well, what Christian are you? Are you Baptist? Are you, whatever? What are the other ones? Pentecostal, non-denominational? I mean, I could go. Again, there's 20,000 different ones. So my brain almost short circuits because there's so many to try to remember. And there was a division like, oh, well, you're that kind. That's ego, friends. That's not God. God doesn't do that. God is love. And when I was part of the tradition, when I was in Christianity, I'm only saying Christianity because I was a part of that. I could apply this to any religion, but I have the most experience with that one because that's the most predominant religion in the United States. So there was a lot of fear mongering. Like, if you do this, God's going to do this to you. And it would make me feel cut off. Like, oh my gosh, if I do this, God's going to, I don't know, hit me with a strike of lightning. I have no idea. And so it was a lot of trying to control behavior based on fear. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, some people, we could get angry at someone and think, oh my gosh, I would like to punch that person, but I'm not going to, because I know if I do, then I'm going to go to jail or whatever. I'm using that as an example. I know none of us want to punch people because we're these bright lights in the world, and I'm just using it as an example. So there are elements of survival and fear that can be helpful, but when you're trying to connect with a higher power, sometimes that fear can turn people off or cut people off, and they can get stuck there. I have worked with so many deeply religious clients over the years because my work has no religious base. It is a spiritual base, which means the creator that created all of the religions is the creator that I answer to and that I am working with and through. So I love and respect all faiths. If you have a faith, if you're on this path in any capacity and you're actually doing it and you're actually in it, and it's not just a set of cut off behaviors you're doing, but you're actually in the flow, you're in the spirit, you feel it, and you're generous and you're moving through it, then I'm all about it. But I will tell you that fear and that judgment knocks them down, and they get stuck in guilt and feeling unworthy. And, God is almighty and he's punishing them. And it really doesn't serve them well. And I can tell you that it doesn't serve them well because I'm looking at their energy body, and they're cut off and they're manifesting disease and they're stuck way in the past. And so that type of religiosity doesn't serve, in my opinion, based on my experiences of what I've seen, when it gets to the extreme like that. And a lot of people who have had that experience in a religion get very turned off from religion. So, Jesus was crucified by the people. The crucifixion happens. It happens in life because we are humans and we have an ego and we have to do our inner work. Most people don't. Most people aren't going to do the inner work. They're going to follow a set of rules that think they're going to get somewhere, but they're not actually embodying the lessons. You embody the lessons when you're actually inspired to do the work. The spirit is moving through you, and it is an intuitive feeling, not a head space feeling where you're just thinking it. There's a part of you thinking it, but you get the difference. Have you ever seen someone, I think Jan Van Zant used to call it neck down dead. So when they're just thinking, but there's no feeling in it, there's no heart in it. Because I've had experiences where I visit a temple or a church, and right when I walk in, I want to bust out crying because it's so beautiful and the energy is so loving and it's so accepting, and it's like, oh my gosh, this energy is so beautiful. And I've done that where I've walked in, I'm just busting out crying, like, am I a psychopath? Like, what's wrong with me? Why am I crying? But it's that unconditional love that just absolutely transmutes everything. And I've been in other churches or temples where they're reading from a text, particularly Catholic religions, and I have a lot of friends that are Catholic, but they say things like, I walk in and there's no spirit moving. It's very rigid and it's stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? Again, I'm sure there's other elements of that particular tradition where there is the spirit moving, but you and I'm talking to you about, there is a difference. So spirituality is in the moment, connected to yourself, connected to all, and letting the spirit move through you. Whereas opposed to religion, and it can be both. Like I said, it can be both. Religion is doing these sets of beliefs and following these rules, and you're often a part of a group, and the whole group is following those rules. Oftentimes, spirituality is just your own unique, individual, embodied experience. Now, for me, I have a group of spiritual beings like mine from all different religious backgrounds, where we come together and we bless the planet and we do energy healing practices to help everyone, regardless of your faith or your religion. And for me, that works very well for me. I have a deeper spiritual experience now that I do not consider myself to be part of a religion than when I did. I was part of a Christian church that believed in the gifts of the Spirit, and the Spirit was always flowing and moving, and people were getting healed and all this kind of stuff. So I know that feeling, and I get that same feeling now, but I just don't do it as a part of a organized religion, air quote. I don't claim to be that because I've learned through world religion and through pranic healing and through all the things that I've practiced that the core commonalities are the same. And so I don't want to be separated or cut off from another religion because I'm choosing to just follow one when I could actually just take the meat of all religions and be loving and accept them all and know that there are millions of people that are doing amazing things on this planet. They are great people. They are faith-filled. They do the right thing. And I don't have to separate myself because of a particular religion or title or group that I'm identifying with. And I don't have to just choose one. That's my other thing. I don't have to choose one. I can actually just love and appreciate all ascended masters. And that's my take on that. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is karma and punishment. This is the other thing that I hear so much about. I use the law of karma. I talk about the law of karma because that's in pranic healing. And again, pranic healing weaves all of the religions together to one. But before I knew pranic healing, I was already on that path because I'd taken a world religion course and I had so many friends in different religions and they were the same. The heart and the spirit was the same, even though the path to get there was different. And so essentially, it's the golden rule. Do unto others as you want to have it done to you, and what you give out comes back. Whereas religion often will say, oh, well, if you do this, you're punished. And that feels very cut off and low vibrational to me. For me, I feel like it's more, there's consequences to my behavior. It's not a punishment, it's a consequence. So, if I take a hammer and hit my finger, it's going to hurt. There's a consequence. I did that, this is going to happen. I'm going to hurt my finger. There's a consequence to every action. And so what we say, as you are a powerful spiritual being and you have learned lessons, you graduate through different levels of expectation. So I always say, okay, so in kindergarten, if I do something silly, I'm going to be easily forgiven because I'm still learning and, I don't know everything yet. So, and I didn't do it on purpose. But as I get, I'm PhD level now, I'm all the way through college. If I do something and I knew better, then my consequences are going to be more. It's no different, we have in the law, if you do something wrong as a juvenile, you probably will get a break. But if you do it as an adult, the break, not so much. You're going to have more come back on you. Also, if you do something really generous, you're probably going to get a lot back because people can see the spirit and know the heart, and there is energy. Everything's energy. So the more I give, the more I get. That's just the way that it works. And I just tend to lean toward that ideology as opposed to punishing or I'm bad, because I see it weigh people down and gets them stuck. And I just don't feel like it serves us very well. But I respect what everybody else believes within their religion or within their spirituality, because it is an individual experience at the end of the day. We're here to work together, but you come in alone and you go out alone physically. Obviously, there's a spiritual component where you have beings helping you. And so that is what I wanted to share. Please don't get caught up in it. The energy healing work that I do has no religious bounds to it. And I know a lot of times people think, oh, well, when you say you're spiritual, you're just out in the ethers floating around. You have no structure. That isn't true. It's not true. It just means that you don't identify with only one particular belief system. For me, I see the weaving of all of them because I've studied it and I'm looking at the heart of people and the soul of people. I want to look at the condition of someone's soul. That's how I'm going to decide whether or not we are in alignment or if that's someone I want in my inner circle or close to me. I'm not looking at the title of what they say, because that's the other thing. People will say, oh, I'm a Christian. And it's like, you are? How do you express your faith? I'll ask people, how do you express your faith? Well, I just believe, we're all one. I'm like, okay, so that's a belief, but you're not practicing. So for me, spirituality must be carried out in practicality, whatever that spiritual component is, whoever feeds your soul spiritually or whatever feeds your soul spiritually. So we can say a lot of things, but it doesn't mean we're embodying it and we're actually having action that is generating a certain result. So I think that's all I had to say about that. And let's go into a healing. You can uncross your arms and legs and start to focus on your breathing, and I will turn the healing on. okay, and so it is, you can start coming back into your body. Friends, I want to thank you for all of your donations. I sincerely appreciate it. I really, really do. I want you to know that. And if you're not on my mailing list, you can do so over at blendedinside.com. If you feel compelled, you can leave me a review on iTunes. It helps to boost the algorithm and get it into the ears of more people that it might help. And as always, I appreciate you and I wish you a beautiful week. Take care. Bye-bye.